Good afternoon, listeners, vibrant minds of the University of Calabar. You are tuned into the CAREERX show, brought to you by the Career Services Center and the CAREERXHUB, where we are empowering students for career success. Today, we are exploring two fascinating tools that can guide you on your career journey, and that is the MBTI and StrengthsFinder. It is always a pleasure to be here on the CAREERX show, especially with brilliant students and even non-students who are serious about building their future. So our discussion today is centered on something that many of us don't take time to explore, but it is very important. And what is that? Knowing yourself. So before I begin, explanation about what this tool stands for, and of course, why we should utilize these tools. There is a popular saying, especially by female gender, that some persons do say that they cannot work in certain environments. They cannot work with certain people. Some women even say that they cannot work with fellow women. But the question is it about working with a woman or working with a man? Or is it really about understanding the personalities and the strengths of the persons you are working with? That is why the tools that we are going to be talking about today are very important for our career success and growth. So let's dive in. All right. So why use these tools? We are talking about MBTI and also StrengthsFinder. So let me. All right. So for those of you, if you are joining us online, I believe that by now you can see my screen. I am just going to be writing out MBTI. MBTI is an acronym. MBTI. And the second tool is StrengthsFinder. You spell strengths. Pardon my writing if it is not too clear, right? So we are talking about MBTI and StrengthsFinder. All right. So let me write this again. MBTI, and the second tool is Strengths. StrengthsFinder. So by the end of today's session, we are expected to understand what these tools really mean and how we can utilize them, for our career growth. So why are we suggesting that you use these tools? Why are we recommending these tools to you for your career growth? Number one, the MBTI or StrengthsFinder, both of them would help you to discover your natural preferences. And the second reason why we recommend these tools is because They will help you make informed decisions about your career path, especially for those who are new, in one career path or the other, or intending to, go into one career path or the other. Number three, these tools will help you communicate and collaborate better. Remember that when we were talking about effective communication, when we were talking about your strengths, when we were talking about the workplace, we mentioned that communication and collaboration is very key if we want to grow in our different career paths, in our different workplaces, right? And the third reason would be to become self-aware. These tools put together would help you as a person to become more self-aware. And this will go along to help you beyond your workplace. Outside of your workplace, outside working relationships, you can also become more self-aware and relate better, interact better at home, and even in your safe spaces, right? You can relate better with people. All right, so let's go into the definition of terms. What is MBTI? MBTI stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Again, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. For those of you who are joining us online, I'm just going to write it out. Myers-Briggs, M-Y-E-R. All right. So Myers-Briggs is spelled M-Y-E. Okay, let me write this again. M-Y-E-R-S. Myers-Briggs, B-R-I-G-G-S. Myers-Briggs type indicator, right? And the Myers-Briggs type indicator is based on 4 personality dichotomies, 4 personality traits, right? The first is extraversion or introversion. The first is extraversion or introversion. Extraversion is represented with the letter E, and introversion is represented with the letter I. We are going somewhere, and I hope that you are taking notes. The second is sensing, represented with the letter S, or intuition, represented with the letter N. The third one is thinking, represented with the letter T, or feeling, represented with the letter F. And the fourth one is judging, represented with the letter J, or perceiving, represented with the letter P. Now, your result is a combination of these letters. The result is a combination of the different personality traits that we have mentioned. So for some persons, it will be a combination of extraversion and thinking. That would be E-N-T, and perhaps judging or perceiving. So for some persons, it will be ISTJ. ISTJ meaning introversion, sensing, thinking, and judging. For some persons, their personalities might be ENFP, meaning extraversion, intuition, feeling, and perceiving, while some others might be INTJ, meaning introversion, intuition, thinking, and judging. So the case continues, it continues. That is what the Myers-Briggs type indicator tells us about personality types. So wherever you are, whether you are male or female, whether you are elderly, whether you are not, your personality types are built around these traits that we have just mentioned. Again, extraversion or intrusion, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, judging or perceiving. If you are joining us on your radio, you can call our hotline to ask your questions, to join the conversation, to give your contributions. And our hotline is 0809 444 058. Again, our hotline is 0809 444 058. Meanwhile, if you're streaming this show via YouTube or the Radio Guardian, of course, at Unica Radio International, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section, your questions in the comment section, and our team will be available to read them out and attend to them in the course of this show. So let us go on to MBTI in careers. MBTI, how do we apply? How does MBTI apply in career? So in career, MBTI gives clue about the kind of environment you thrive in. If you are able to take the MBTI test, of course, personality test, it will help you to identify the ideal work environment, the kind of environment that suits your person. Do you work in an environment that allows people to work freely, or an environment that does not give people the levity, of expressing themselves? Do you work in an environment that is expressive, or the contrary? The MBTI gives clue about the kind of environment, the ideal environment that works for your personality. Many people have issues with their bosses, with their colleagues, not because they don't know how to do the job, but simply because they have a different personality which does not suit with their work environment, right? So the second point here would be MBTI also gives you clue about the roles that would energize you, right? It helps you to match your career path to your personality type, right? It helps you to understand the roles that would energize you. What kind of role would you be passionate about doing? What kind of role can you do easily, without being forced, without being compelled to, take up your job, to do this, to do that? That is what MTI personality test helps you to do. It helps you to match your career path with the personality type. So, for instance, someone who is introverted, might not want to do a job that will require him meeting people at most times, meeting a group of people, engaging with people, sales, marketing, and all of that. Why? Because this person is, introverted and also very reserved, right? On the other way around, someone who is not very introverted, who is very extroverted, would, of course, not want to do a job that would keep him or her in the room, in the confines of a room, throughout the work experience, but would like to travel around and meet new people, engage with new people, learn new things, and the list goes on, right? So just like I've mentioned, for instance, ESFP, would people with that kind of personality type, the ESFP, would of course be people focused, would likely take people focused roles, you get. And then also the MBTI would help you to approach tasks and people in the right way. It tells you how to approach people. If you understand the kind of personality that you are, you also understand that this is the kind of personality that my boss is. This is the kind of personality that my colleague is. It will help you better approach people and also better approach tasks that are assigned to you. Right? So, like I've mentioned, for instance, the INTJs, they like strategic roles that are just spelled out, right? Then the ESFPs who want roles that are focused on people that would help them to meet new people, interact with people, right? So moving on, we've talked about MBTI. Let us look at StrengthsFinder. We've talked about MBTI. Let us look at StrengthsFinder. What exactly is StrengthsFinder? The Strengths Finder. So, the Strengths Finder is another tool that can help you discover your talents, your skills, inborn skills, right? And the Strengths Finder is now called 15 Strengths. It's now called 15 Strengths. When the tool was newly released, it was known as Strengths Finder. But right now, it is called let me add that again. Clifton Strengths. Clifton Strengths. All right. So the Strengths Finder helps you to identify your top talents from 34 different themes, right? And examples of those themes would include achiever, empathy, learner, strategic, and communication, right? Again, the Strengths Finder helps you to identify your top talents, your abilities, those things that you can easily do without being coerced, without being forced to, right? For instance, achiever, empathy, learner, strategic, communication. So hearing these examples that I have given now, what comes to your mind, right? It simply means that with the Strengths Finder, you'll be able to know whether you are an achiever. What is your place as when it comes to empathy? Are you a learner? Someone who finds, finds passion in learning about new things. Or are you strategic? What is your place when it comes to strategy? Are you someone that can easily strategize, come up with new strategies to handle problems, to solve problems? Or are you someone who is very good in communication, right? So now that we've talked about the MBTI and the Strengths Finder, let us compare. What is the difference between both tools? Now, the MBTI helps you to understand your personality type. The MBTI helps you to understand your personality types, while the Strengths Finder helps you to discover your natural talents, right? Again, the MBTI helps you to understand your personality type, like I've said. The ESFPs, INTJ, different personality types that you fall, that of course is a combination of different personality traits. While the Strengths Finder helps you to discover your natural talents, like I've mentioned. Together, they provide a fuller picture of who you are and how to grow. Again, both MBTI and Strengths Finder used together provide a fuller picture of who you are and how to grow. So while MBTI deals with who you are, Strengths Finder deals with how to grow, how you can grow, right? Given your personality. Okay, let us look at how to use these tools for career growth. Number one, you can use these tools, using both of these tools together, they will help you to choose the right opportunities. These tools will also help you improve team collaboration. These tools will also help you to find energizing roles, like I earlier mentioned, and they will also help you to build confidence in your strengths, right? I feel that it is very important for every student to take this assessment before graduation. I mean, whether or not you are in school, it is important for you to take both the MBTI and the StrengthsFinder tool. Aside the StrengthsFinder tool and the MBTI, I would also recommend the 16 personality test. Yes, I think that is free to use, and all of these tools would help you to understand, of course, become more aware, and of course, how to grow based on your personality, helping you to make very informed decision, right? So if you are on if you are streaming online, you can see our screen that the benefit of these tools, number one, is to better to understand yourself better, more confidence in decision making, improved communication, and of course, personalized care for yourself, right? So let us move on to limitations. We know that, I mean, as beautiful as these tools look, right? They would have their limitations. They would have, the loopholes and all of that, right? So here are a few limitations to keep in mind. Number one, the MBTI and StrengthsFinder are not definite or predictive. They are not definite or predictive. We are not saying this is the final say. Like once you take this test, once you use these tools, you'll be able to define yourself and also, have the exact picture of what you want. I mean, it doesn't end with just using these tools, right? There's work that you have to put in to realizing yourself awareness, and of course growing even after realizing yourself, utilizing this knowledge, right? And then these tools should not limit potential. I know that when some persons utilize these tools, you say, oh, I'm not a good learner. Let's say, for instance, you take the StrengthsFinder tool and then you discover that, according to the results, you're not a good learner. You are more of an achiever or just good in communication. The responses, the results you get from these tools should not limit your potential. That is what we advise. That is our expert advice for you. It should not limit your potential, but rather help you to work better with yourself and on your strengths. It should also help you to identify your weaknesses, where you are, not very good, and see how you can collaborate with people who are good in those areas to better yourself and to also better be more productive, in the execution of your tasks and all of that, right? So these tools are best used with mentoring. Right? These tools are best used, and you have an expert who can advise you and counsel you from time to time, right? Again, I would like to, run over these limitations because these are um, your career journey. These tools are also mirrors to help you see yourself more clearly, right? The same way you look after dressing up, you look yourself in the mirror to see how you look, right? Whether you should change your hat, your face cap, or change your t-shirts, or maybe wear a black to watch, or just stay the way you are. That is the same way these tools should serve as a tool of reflection to help you reflect on yourself and your abilities, right? I will leave you with these words. Aristotle once said, Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. I know that for those of us who are Christians, scriptures tell us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning, right? Is that not what we say? But then Aristotle has added to say that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. That is to say, when you come into a place of clarity, you understand yourself and you know where you are going, where you are right now, you can easily grow and keep growing and keep expanding, right? Explore who you are and shape a career that fits you. Use these tools to explore who you are and shape a career that fits you, right? So I believe that you have had a great session learning about the personality types and, of course, the MBTI tool and the StrengthsFinder tool. If you have your questions, like I said, you can share with us. In the meantime, I'd like us to look at a few questions that we've gotten from some students, right, who have been listening in. And I won't be doing this alone. I would be, of course, responding to these questions alongside my team member, Mr. Ben David of the CAREERXHUB, of the CAREERXHUB team. Mr. Ben David, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Ben David.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Yeah. So it's a pleasure to have you here in the studio with us.
Yeah.
Let us quickly look at some of the questions, right?
Yeah.
So someone is asking, what if I don't like the results of my MBTI or StrengthsFinder test? You know, sometimes when we take this test, we don't get what we expect. We have like a clear picture already of what we want. So someone is asking, what if I don't like the results of my MBTI or StrengthsFinder test? Yeah.
Okay. I think it should be a starting point.
Okay.
So, you know how self-awareness, a lot of us we don't know ourselves properly. So with this tool, we can use it as a starting point.
Okay.
Yeah, we should not just be like you said, the final say. It should not be the final say. It should just be like something that, okay, I know about this, I know about this, I can work on this. Yeah. So basically just be a starting point.
Great. That is to say, we should not box ourselves. We should not box ourselves in the results of our MBTI and StrengthsFinder.
Yes.
You know, don't box yourself. Don't use it as boxes, right? But then use it as a starting point to say, oh, okay, this is where I am right now, and this is what I can do with my personality test. This is what I am best at, and this is where I can grow. So thank you very much. So another question here is, so someone is asking, are these tools scientifically accurate or reliable? Are they accurate? Are they reliable? Can someone bank on these tools? Yeah.
Like you said, it's not a final verdict, yeah. But yes, somehow it can be reliable for career development.
Yeah.
Again, you can, as a coach, as a guidance, you can use it alongside with mentoring your students. Yeah. Finding about their strengths and weaknesses. You know?
I know. I agree with you because there is there's one organization which I applied to join, and tasked to take the personality test and submit the result, before consideration. Yeah. So you see that organizations are like taking this very seriously. I mean, the MBTI and StrengthsFinder tools are widely used, globally by organizations. Yeah. So don't be surprised when you apply for a job and they tell you take a personality test. That is because the organization wants to know the person that they want to work with and better understand how they want or how they should work with you to get better results, right?
Yeah.
So for that. don't need to pay to take the assessment. Okay. Do I need to pay to use these tools?
Okay, we have free version, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have free version, but at CareerX, we will provide for you the premium version.
Yeah.
So we're partnering with Unical. So with that, we'll provide for you the free version of it and guide you on how to use them.
All right. You heard from him. You heard from him firsthand. I mean, the CAREERXHUB, what we are here in the University of Calabar to do for you, of course, as part of the Career Services Center, in the University of Calabar, we will give you access to, free tools that you can use for the personality test and, of course, your strengths finder test. So don't worry if you are a student of the University of Calabar. Don't fret about, finding a premium version or whether or not you're going to pay for this, right?
Yeah.
Just come to the Career Services Center and we will guide you on how you can take this test, at no cost at all, right?
Yeah.
Now let us take more questions. Someone said, is one tool better than the other? Is the MBTI better than the StrengthsFinder?
I don't think so. I think if you combine both of them, you get like full potential. One is for personality and one is for talent. So if you combine both of them, you can know your potential. You can know your potentials and what you can do combined here.
All right, listeners, you heard from him. About if you are asking if one tool is better than the other. His response is na collabo, right? You have to collaborate, join both tools, the MBTI or StrengthsFinder. Why? Because the MBTI is for personality test. The StrengthsFinder is, of course, for talent, to help you discover your talent. Like I earlier said, the MBTI, it will help you to discover who you are, while the other tool, the StrengthsFinder, will help you to discover how to grow based on, of course, who you are, right? All right. I would like us to take one more question before we round off this session, right?
Yeah.
The final question I would like us to take is, how can I take these assessments as a Unical student?
Okay, that's a very good question. Very good question. So, if you try to take it by yourself, you may get confused. But it's quite easy. Just give some bunch of answers, by yourself.
Yeah.
So, but when you come to our you on how to do these questions and how to this
personality and find out. Great. So you heard from me, right? You heard from Mr. Ben David. If you are finding it challenging, if you're finding it daunting to take the personality and strengths finder test, feel free to reach out to us at the Career Services Center, which is located in the old Faculty of Law building, left wing, right? First floor, left wing. And meanwhile, you can reach out to us, right, via our hotline, which I'm going to read out to you right now. You can call us on 0813 154 2720. Again, you can call the CAREERXHUB at 0813 154 2720, right? Feel free to call us or reach out to us at the CAREERXHUB, at the Career Services Center, and we'll be glad to guide you on how to take your MBTI or StrengthsFinder test, your personality or strength test, right? So that brings us to the end of the session today, the episode of the CareerX show today, live on Unical Radio International 103.5 FM, the radio station that offers you education beyond barriers. And until we meet same time, same station next week Tuesday, bye for now.